about it right now, everything's okay. No matter where you find yourself, no matter what kind of stuff is going on in your life, underneath it all, everything's actually all right. You're okay. You have more power than you might be giving yourself credit for. If you have something that's going on in your life right now that's challenging, painful, it's just a reminder to take a little bit better care of yourself. Because you're worth it. You can have this feeling anytime you choose.
Hey guys, we're finally live. I am very, very excited. We're just talking about it behind stage, sort of like how excited we are to officially be launching this Incentivized Testnet program. So it's been a long, long time in the making, and we wanted to make sure to give you all the information. So we're gonna have quite a packed call today. With us today, we have a few people talking about a few topics. First and foremost, York is gonna talk to you guys about how to set up your operator, your validator, how to monitor it, how to make sure everything is running. Yeah, Yorick is waiting there. Ben is going to be talking to us about the marketing activity, the community digests, and everything that goes on behind the scenes. We're going to move on to Fadi. He's going to talk about the incentivized mechanism, the rewards distribution, everything that has to do with how you guys can calculate your actual rewards. Ariel is going to then show you what the rewards look like in a more deep dive into the current existing situation. We'll wrap it up with Alon answering some questions that you guys posted on the groups and posted on the various channels. And then last but not least, a POAP for all of you guys participating. So packed agenda, very excited. Official kickoff for the Incentivized Testnet. Without further ado, I'll let York take the stage and talk to you guys about everything you need to know for your validators and operators.
Hello, hello. All right, so we're gonna geek out hardcore here. I'm gonna share my screen and we'll go from there. So hopefully I think I'm sharing the video as well. Okay, well, we'll be okay. So the first thing to discuss is this is a live demo. So things may break. On the SSV testnet, you got validators and you got operators. The validators are just keys backed by 32 ETH, which then get split into fragments. We'll see that hopefully in the next 25 minutes. We have time to show that. And the operators run the actual fragments and get to consensus. So I'm going to show how to run one of those. There are many different ways of running them. I'm going to show my own tooling Docker. So over here, I have a little Linux box that's already up and running. We're assuming that you created it. It's secured. There's an SSH login. There's a Docker running on it, etc. We're not going to show that in the interest of time. And then I'm going to my own docs here as Docker and saying, all right, we're going to clone this thing, git into, say, ssv test. And then we're going to go into ssv test. I'm going to switch over to the instructions for run a blocks node. Okay, run fdconfig. Let's do that. .fdconfig. Okay, we don't have an environment file, so we're going to use the defaults. we're going to be on Prota Testnet, 100%, and we want a blocks SSV node. Yes. All right, now I need to select my consensus client. Teku is a really good client. It's a little resource hungry. So the VPS I'm on is truly tiny. I've tried this I've actually have a crypto manufacturer EU that was running a Teku, and it fell over because I didn't give it enough resources. So for this test, I'll do Lighthouse. It's a little lighter than Teku. Teku is a great client if you have enough resources, just saying that. Okay, for the execution client, I'm just going to be really conservative here and do Geth. As we go towards merge, we want definitely want diversity here, maybe an Aragon, Nethermind, or Besu, but for today, it's going to be Death. Do you want to use a fallback execution client? We can do this currently, so if Geth isn't synced, we can use something else. So let's take a look. You are going to see some keys here. Don't get too excited. All of this gets destroyed after the demo. So, man, me and my screen. Project settings, we are on Girly. Copy this. And yes, we want to use a fallback. And we're going to paste that in here. Girly Infura, okay. Do I want to use Grafana? Yes, for monitoring, so I can see what's going on, right? That's important. Do I want to use Rapid Sync? Yeah, I do. Let's get Lighthouse up in minutes instead of days. And for that, I'm going to go to my trusty project setting here again. This is an F2 project in Infura. On Prota, copy that, paste it, and hit OK. All right. That was step one. So we have it configured. Now what comes next? Don't actually need to do this compose file stuff here because, you know, ftconfig got cleverer since. Get the key for the SSV node. We need to do that. So let's say we want to generate the keys. Again, you're going to see a secret key. Don't get too excited. All of this gets destroyed after. So we're going to do docker compose run ssv generate keys. There it is. So this now generated a private key or a public key. This public key is what you will need when you register this thing with the website, right? You register as an operator. The secret key, this private key here, this is SK, right? Private key, secret key or private key. This is what you need to actually get it up and running. So we're going to copy that. And what's next? Copy blocks SSV config sample into blocks SSV config. Okay, so we're going to take the blocks SSV config sample and copy that into blocks SSV config, if I can type, .yaml. And then we're going to do a IUV. Let's do a nano. Keep it easy for people. Blocks ssv config.yaml. Okay, operator private key, your private key here. So there, that is where my private key now goes. I'm going to briefly talk about the other bits here. Oh my God. Okay, yes, that worked. So this is just where the database goes, what ports I'm on. If you're running like a Prism, then you'll need to move these ports, or you'll need to move Prism to different ports because they would, you know, they would conflict. Beacon node, this is as Docker specific. It's on consensus. The execution node, that's again as Docker specific. It's on execution. And then here under global, if you want debug logs, that's what you would change. You would change your log level to debug. Okay, great. Say yes. And what's next? Start it, SD up. Okay. Ah, yes, of course. So I got some errors here. It's telling me that things are already bound. This is because I'm running other stuff on this. I'm running one already, so I need to move out. I'm just gonna move some of these ports here away. So we're not having issues. Try that again. All right, perfect. Okay. I will take a quick look as to what my consensus client is doing. So that's my lighthouse. We're seeing here it got the checkpoint. That was its rapid sync. It sees that Geth is not synced, so it's getting it from fallback. And it should now, in a minute or so, it should go and start producing blocks. While it's doing that, let's take a quick look at Geth itself. Is that healthy? If I can type execution. Okay, so it's syncing. That's going to take hours. So we do actually have another one that we have prepared for this. Back to my consensus client. Okay, this takes forever when you're waiting for it. I'm going to give it another minute, but then we're going to just stop. I do have one I prepared earlier, so we don't have to wait for all of this to be ready, right? This machine is also quite overloaded with 2 stacks running. So yep, here we are. Good. So we now see HTTP API started on 005052. That's what I want to see. This means this thing is now ready to take connections from the SSV node, right? I see it's searching for peers. So this is all going. At this point, the SSV node, it has been restarting continuously because it can't find Lighthouse. And here we are. So this is looking good. It tells me that the F1 node is currently syncing, so my Geth isn't ready. This is perfectly expected, right? At this point, you would just walk away and walk the dog and do something else and come back a few hours later when everything is synced. Okay, we're going to stop all this. SD stop. Done with it. And we're going to switch over to like a cooking show, as Dean said, one we prepared earlier. So hopefully it's still all running. Let me see. That looks good. SD logs fssv node. And this looks much happier, right? You see this thing up and running. Operator successfully configured and running. That's great. So once I've done all that, I do have my operator up and running, but the SSV network knows nothing about it. So going over here, if you go to ssv.network, you can get into this app here, join the network, and I can run a validator and I can join as an operator. So I need to, give me 1 second here. I need to see whether I actually have my public key ready. How do I move this thing? I do not. Of course not. Always something during live demos. There it is. So this is the public key for the node I prepared earlier. I copied that. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to say, how to move that? Join as operator. Run SSV node. We did that. Register an operator. Perfect. Select a wallet. We're going to connect with Metamask. And here we go. So these are throwaway accounts that I actually consider compromised at this point. So I have my Kintsugi test account. I'm going to use that one. Display name, community demo. How's that? And operator public key. I should also say community demo will not be verified, and I do not guarantee that this thing is ever up. Okay. And we're going to say next. Transaction fee is a little bit of girlieth, and let's say we register this operator. Okay, and confirm. And there we go. It is now in process of being registered as an operator. 9:32. We're going good on time. We're like 10 minutes in, and we have the node. Now, it says here, monitor node, view your operator performance in our Explorer. I cannot guarantee that the Explorer picked it up in 2 seconds, but we shall see. It actually did. Very nice. And there are no validators in it, so it has 0%, right? Okay, great. We are going to get to putting a validator into it next. Before we do that, let's take a quick look at Grafana. All right, this is, yeah, I worried about this. So I had issues with my Grafana here. I'm not getting any data. I don't know why. I'm not gonna troubleshoot that on the stream. What I'm gonna do instead is I'm going to let you look behind the scenes into my production Grafana. Oh boy. We do not want to show you Chainlink. We want to show you the SSV operator node. And, oh wow, this is a true live demo. Oh no, it's thinking about it. Okay, good. So this is what the Grafana looks like on my crypto manufacture node. You can see all of the validators it has running, how many peers they have, whether they're ready or, slashed or exited. I can see the peer count that I have here. The total active validators, 1,079, the health of that thing. I cannot see the disk usage, memory use, and CPU usage. That's because the official dashboard assumes Kubernetes, and I'm not running in Kubernetes. And I can see my Go routines. That's really it. This is more for seeing, is it healthy? And then if you have an issue with a specific validator, I could say, I can see it on dashboard and beacon chain, but I can also click on this public key here. Sorry, that's here, dashboard here. I can click on dashboard if it does open. True demo, here we go. And it will show me specific information about this one validator, right? So if you're a node operator and somebody comes to you and says, my validator is not working, what's going on? You have it. I can see, is it ready? How many peers do I have? With one connected peer, not much is going to happen. I need at least 2 others, right? And what does it have to say over here? So we see that ETH staker, for example, appears to be down for it. Okay, great. I think that's it for Grafana, really, really briefly. And we are going to pivot, and we're going to say we want to join as a validator now. All right, we have a validator. I created one, so that's your keystore. I'm going to import it. So I need a keystore file. And it's this one right here that I deposited for earlier on. We're going to try and do a deposit as well during this stream. I'm not sure we're going to get to it. So let's take this keystore file and the password for the keystore file and say next. And now I need to select operators. We're going to spend a little bit of time on that. Okay, so I have operators. Some of these are verified and some are not. Verified operators are held to a higher standard. They should be up. For incentivized testnet, if you care for your validator to be up, you definitely want verified operators so that your validator gets a good score. However, in the current version of the Explorer, you don't yet see the score of these guys here, right? So what do I do about that? Let's say I want LionStake. All right, let's look up LionStake. And I go over here and say, I want to look up LionStake. There it is. And LionStake has a performance of 99.97%. That seems like a good choice. Okay. Let's take our next operator. I am friends with Superfizz. Let's go find ourselves the ETH staker one and see how they are doing. Fstaker seems to be in rough shape. Okay, I trust these guys anyway, so this is a good thing to where we can talk about what do I do when somebody's in rough shape. You should go to the Blocks SSV Discord, and you can click a role that gives you access to the verified operators channel. Then you can hound them in there and say, okay, guys, you're 23%. What is going on? I can actually guess by looking at this. They're in Contabo. They're using Teku. This is a super budget provider. I tried this similarly with Crypto Manufaktur EU, with Netcup, another super budget provider, and Teku, and it fell over. So now I'm on Lighthouse. I may need to make my VPS a little bigger, right? So don't worry, we will get there. Everybody wants to be at 99%, but with these kind of experimentations here, like how low can you go? This may very well happen. Okay, so we got Fstaker. The next two should please be solid, because we need a quorum of 3 solid at a minimum for my thing to be up. So let's take a look. Block staking. Don't know who those guys are, but let's see whether they're good at running their node. Everyone is laughing. All right, block staking. 97%. Well, but okay, we'll trust them. And then let's take one more. See who else we like. Foundry, Fragment, all nodes, chain layer, staking. Low fee validation. Well, okay, who doesn't like low fees? Low fee validation. 99%. Sure, why not? Okay, so I have my 4. One of those is a little questionable. I'd have to hound them on Discord and go next. Running a validator simultaneously to the SSV network will cause slashing. Right, this is important. We need to stick here for just a second. So a validator, that's your keystore M, is backed by 32 ETH. A validator can only be active once in the network. So if this is a fresh keystore, you're fine. You don't have it running anywhere else. If you ever imported this anywhere into your own Linux box, into all nodes, into the old school block staking, into any kind of service, right? This needs to be shut down first. You need to stare at the beacon chains site to see that it's missing attestations. You need to make sure that the key on the old setup has been deleted, not just stop the service, but the key is deleted. You've tried to start the service, it cannot find it again. It cannot, under any circumstances, come back up again. Only then can you say, yes, I understand that I can only run this once, else I get slashed. Now it's Prota Testnet, so getting slashed is not the end of the world, but on mainnet, oh my God, that hurts. Right? A slashing is a forced exit and a harsh penalty. The penalty is currently on the order of about an ETH, and it will probably go up with the merge fork. All right, next. We can check one more time that we like this. Lion stake, Fstaker, block staking, low fee validation, transaction cost, nothing, run validator. Okay, this transaction is expected to fail. That's not what I expected. I'll try anyway. So I do need some ETH to do this. Luckily, I have some girly ETH. Confirm. And let's see. Can view this on Etherscan and stare at it and hope that this comes in. It's gonna take a minute. We may come back to it. So, 9:42. We got 10 minutes. Are we feeling it? Are we trying? Yeah. Iran is nodding. Let's try a deposit. Okay, I need Discord. What's this? That's Telegram. Need Discord. I'm clearly not very good at at making this small. Here we go. Can I do that? Hide thumbnail video? Oh my God, yes. That's better. Can I hide this thing up here too? Hide video panel. Yes. Okay. Beauty. Maybe not. I can hope. Okay. Discord. We're going to the blogs Discord. There it is. Now we're going to go to the deposit bot. Okay. This tells me that I can get to the validator deposit stage on Prota Launchpad, change disabled to enabled by inspecting a button, and then getting some data and getting going. Wow. All right, let's try that. So here's one I tried earlier. So I'm at the Prota Launchpad. I basically next finished my way through all the dire warnings that my ETH will be locked, and if I get it wrong, I will be slashed. And I'm going to take this key here that I have not deposited for. I'm going to try and deposit for it using the bot. Okay, so it tells me I'm on Girly Testnet and I don't have enough Girly ETH. Very true, I know that. So I'm on Chrome, which means I can right-click inspect. In Firefox, this is an F12 and a little bit more difficult, but in Chrome, I can just right-click inspect. And it shows me this button here that I'm on, this continue button, which is disabled. So I'm just going to enable that. Type enabled and enter. Ta-da! Close this again. And now I can just keep going. I understand that I can't withdraw and that I get slashed if I get it wrong and so on. Please, if you're on mainnet, just don't next finish. Yeah. All right, thank you. And now we're going to send the deposit, which of course we can't do because we don't have enough Girly ETH. That's okay though, the bot does. So data, I want, getting this wrong, hex there. I want the hex data, these hex data here. So I'm just going to select them all and say copy. And then we're going to go back to the Discord and it tells me plus Girly ETH wallet address hex data. Okay. Oh, I need the wallet address too. Okay, so I'm just going to put this in here so I have it ready. Okay, and I need the wallet address. There it is. I can reject this now. I don't need that. That's my wallet address. So it wants, I'm just going to construct this and then copy paste it in, plus Girly ETH, all lowercase, plus Girly ETH, wallet address hex data. Copy, paste, and hope that, yeah, wallet address first and then the hex. Yes, Dean, got it. Control V, Girly ETH, wallet address hex data, enter. Operation successful, send, ta-da. So is this depositing for me or is it sending stuff to my wallet?
It's going to deposit on your behalf.
All right, perfect. So that means this should, now I'm thinking about how to look this up. This key store here, I should be able to look this up with the public key, that one, on, I just need a little bit first, the first parts, on prota.beaconchain, depending on how quick this all is. So let's go to prota.beaconchain. Public key, it might not be here yet. Now this is too early. Yep, nope, because it's just been deposited for. So that's fine though, I will trust that it was deposited. So that means now I could use this keystore M here, the fifth one, right? And I could split it into various operators now that it has been deposited for by the Girly bot. I'm ready to end the demo here. Anything else I should be showing before I stop share?
By the way, guys, for those of you who didn't just realize what happened, the bot was completed during the call, and Yorick got the instruction to make the deposit without having done so before. So
that's right.
Talking about stuff going right during a live stream, Yorick, good job for that, man. It was impressive.
Well done,
All right.
Yorick. Well done.
All right, stopping share. Wonderful. Thank you for giving me the floor here. We're at 9:50, so I feel like we did good on time.
Perfect on timing. So in case you guys didn't realize, there's a countdown clock running in the background. There's 10 minutes to go. So just let me explain what that means. If you go into the snapshots, you'll see that there's a few hours left for the vote, but we've already reached quorum. So we're all celebrating here the official launch of the Incentivized Testnet, which is actually happening in the epoch, which will start 11 minutes, 30 seconds from today, from right now. Let me share my screen for a second, because I already went ahead and published a new page. So a lot of you guys have been asking questions about the testnet, as I'm sure you've seen, those who follow the DAO discussions and those who've been in Discord lately. There's been a lot of debate going on behind it. So what we did is we ended up summarizing all the information in a coherent way right here on the page. You can go over the goals. We have, so obviously we're testing scale, tokenomics, ecosystem, decentralization, and so on. So you guys will be able to find all the information that you need to participate. Obviously, Yorick covered the difficult technical part, and this is more the actual terms of the incentivized testnet. By the way, if you guys didn't realize, primus or primus in Latin means the first. That's the name that we chose for this testnet. It's the first of its kind. So we're very, very excited to show it. So there are more details here that you guys can benefit from. We'll talk about the calculations for your rewards, both FOD and AL will cover it. But if you guys need a quick view of a simulator, and obviously read the disclaimer, which is the closest thing to the real deal. Obviously, there's a lot of factors, so we can't guarantee the return, but this is the closest thing to it. So you guys can definitely check it here, both from the validator perspective and the operator perspective, both verified, non-verified. So you should have all the information here. Also the reward scheme and allocation, how it's divided, and so on and so forth. So you guys can find from the calculation all the way down to eligibility and conditions, which is where I want to stop for a second. There was a lot of questions about the bot. So Yorick showed you guys how the bot works, and the validators that will deposit through the bot will only be those will only be the ones that will be actually eligible. If you don't deposit through the bot, your deposit will not be eligible from the validator. So Alon will talk about it after, but just for you guys to know, it's all in information here. Abuse and exclusion, take a moment to go over that as well. We're gonna, obviously block staking is gonna be excluded. We're also going to exclude whales and large players with bad intentions. How are we going to measure it? We have a lot of smart people monitoring the community. You guys are obviously going to take an active part as well. So if you see something that needs to be flagged, you guys know where to find us, and we will take care of it. Either us, the ambassadors, or anyone involved. Simple FAQ questions at the bottom. You guys have all the information here. I'm not going to dive too much into details because you guys can find all the information that you need on the Medium post that was published about this as well. It's sort of the extended view of what you guys are seeing here. You can also reach it from the network page all the way down to the Incentivized Testnet right here. So all the information is out there. It's the first time we do an Incentivized Testnet, let alone such a complicated one. So we hope that this covers everything that you need. We will also upload Yorick's description in case you guys need to run it at a slower rate than what Yorick just showed. So you guys will have all the tools that you need to get started. We are officially launching in 8 minutes. So this is, as you can see, I can't get this smile off my face. I'm very excited about it. So I'm guessing I'm going to pass it on to Ben to talk about the digest and then move on. Ben, keep an eye on the countdown clock. You get the honors of announcing that the epoch has started and the Incentivized Testnet is live.
Sure. So let me share my screen for a second and yeah, try to watch the countdown. So, well, good day, everyone. Again, hello from my side. This is Ben, aka the real Ben Affleck, and most of you know me already as one of the early ambassadors. My Twitter handle, as you can see, is betfleck9383. Since there is surprisingly another dude with the name Ben Affleck, who claims to be a movie star, it's somehow weird. So that one wasn't available. Well, anyway, so it's a great honor for me to present you with another topic today, all about the SSV Community Digest. So if you haven't heard about the SSV Community Digest so far, chances are you haven't been around for a long time, since the SSV Community Digest is your go-to place when you want to catch up after you made a little break, so to say, from the network, or you've simply been overwhelmed by the tons of updates and news and want an easy way to digest all of it. So today, as you know, is a special day since we celebrate the launch of the long-awaited Incentivized Testnet. So there is a simple rule, and that rule says there is no major announcement without a fresh issue of the SSV Community Digest. So this holds true especially today, and that's why we released issue number 11 right before this call kicked off. So where can you find it? I mean, Aaron already introduced a new website, and right at the bottom of the new website, you can already see all the contributions. It's still here. Also the new blog post on the Incentivized Testnet, and there is also the SSV Community Digest right on top. You can visit the blog, of course, to get an extra overview of what's available. The blog is on medium.com. Just hit blog.ssv.network in your browser, and you end up here. And you also see all those nice, lovely visuals, and a big shout out to my man Dean. That's awesome, and you make my retro gamer heart jump all the time. So that's really awesome. Big shout out here. So let's quickly jump to the digest issue 11. Carefully watching the time. Give me a sign once it's ready, Dean.
About 5 minutes left,
yeah,
then, yeah.
Perfect. All right, so issue 11. And you can see there is a lot of update. And you know, the strange things with these kind of community digests is the moment you publish them, they are already outdated. So we already saw that the bot announcement was made a few minutes ago, so that one is already outdated. But anyway, there is a lot of stuff in this digest that might be of help for you guys. So I quickly run it for you. It's mostly about the Incentivized Testnet, of course, that's for sure, but it's also about the community call. So if you missed that one, there will be a recording for sure. So this digest always includes kind of a linked library for you, so you find the stuff really quick. This issue also had like a little summary of our recent AMA on Reddit, which was a great success because we had a lot of questions and answers for the upcoming Incentivized Testnet, or actually the testnet now. And I think it's a good thing for you guys. There are also my top 3 AMA picks. So have a look, see if it answers some of your concerns, questions, whatsoever. And yeah, you should find all the stuff in here. And also, it's important to mention that we have kind of updates for the SSV node, as Jorik has shown before. There is a new version out there for the operators, and as I heard from the operators, the performance is really, really great. And that's another chance for me to show you something. I mean, if you look up a operator that is called Batcave. It's surprising that I chose this name. So here is the disclaimer: don't choose this operator. It's already down. Even if it shows you I did quite well in the beginning, it's no longer online. So please don't do. 2 of you guys already did. I am super sorry that I can't perform in that way. So yeah, maybe you should set up another one and choose another operator. I'm not a good one. I'm sorry for that. Forgive me, please. Okay, quickly going back and speeding up a little bit. I think what's most important here is that we have a ton of new operators on the network, and also we have a lot of stuff that is going on snapshot.org, especially the let me see if I can find the right tab. Adding Tim as the 7th signer of the multisig, of course. We have the DAO-curated node registry. Of course, the incentivized testnet. Still, we reached the quorum, but it's still open if you want to hop in, do it. And also, we closed the network growth grant, which is another important one, I think, because this one is really for you guys. So let me say a couple of words here. The network growth grant is to acknowledge the work so far of the ambassadors, of the community, and so on and so forth. But it's also for the future. I mean, it's our future in terms of the decentralized marketing idea. So if you see anything that comes to your mind, you want to share, you want to do for the SSV network, just let us know, because this is your chance to earn real SSV tokens for your contribution. Have a look on the network growth grants. There is a little template and you know what to do with that. And yeah, from my point on, this is it, I think. Thank you, my friends. I hand it over to Aaron, hopefully just in time to see how it kicks off.
Perfect timing. There's 1 minute 33 seconds left, so we're gonna pretend it's already 4 p.m. 5 p.m. local time or whatever time it is at your place. So as of right now, officially the testnet is live. What this means is essentially that as of right now, your rewards are starting to accumulate. That means that every round, and then we'll get to that in a second, Fuad will explain it into detail, but that means that your activity and your engagement starts generating rewards as of exactly 59 seconds from today, so from right now. So I'll let Fuad explain to you guys how you can dive into the details and understand the reward scheme so that, you know, there are no questions left, but I'll let Fuad present.
Hi everyone, how's it going? I'm Fuad. I'm sure a lot of you guys know me from Discord channel. But yeah, let me share my screen here, and then I can get going. Okay. All right. Can everyone see this?
Yeah, see it fine.
Cool. Yeah. So we get a lot of questions about how the rewards work, and more specifically, how to earn more rewards. Whether it's, you know, adding more validators or how much performance matters and stuff like that. So I wanted to basically present the math and talk through it a little bit. I know it's kind of displayed on the proposal, but for those of you that aren't math people or haven't taken the time to actually do the calculations and think through it, I hope that this will help clarify things and just make it clear how to make the most of this reward program. So to start, actually, let's see. Trying to hide the. There we go. Okay. All right. So to start with the overview details that I'm sure everyone knows by now. This rewards program, it's going to be SSV tokens given to validators and operators. So it's going to be 64,000 SSV tokens rewarded over about 2.5 months. And this is divided into 5 2-week rounds. And the rewards are going to be distributed at the end of the program. So to start with the validators.
By the way, sorry, Fuad, we're live, guys. Congratulations. Best of luck to everyone. Let's go. Bye, nice. Fuad. Sorry about that.
Hey, guys.
Oh, you're good.
Brilliant. Well
awesome.
Done.
So for the validators, it's split into 2 different allocations. Allocation A is 32,000 SSV, and that's for validators that are registered from addresses that are also holding SSV tokens. And the second group, allocation B, is 9,600 SSV for all validators, including the ones holding SSV tokens. So to be eligible, you must have an average attestation rate of 85% to be eligible. But since I'm kind of glossing over things here, you know, see the proposal for all the conditions and requirements. So one of my goals here is to try to visualize a lot of the functions for you, so you can get just a good understanding of how the dynamics of all this works. So starting with allocation A, again, it's 32,000 SSV. for validators that are also holding tokens. So instead of thinking of this as, how many SSV do I earn for holding SSV or running validators, this allocation is better thought of as earning some rate of return on your SSV. So it's better thought of as like earning some percent APR on what you already hold. So the main variables of this are it increases for the number of validators you're running. However, this has a diminishing effect. So the first validator you run has a big reward, and then each validator you add after that has you're going to get less of a reward than the previous one. So your 20th validator would be worth a lot less than your first one. And your reward the rate will decrease with the more SSV participating. So the more people that participate in this testnet, there's a fixed reward pool. So the reward distribution to each person is going to be less. So the figure on the right here, each of these curves basically represents one of the functions that's shows the percent APR you can earn based on the number of eligible validators you have. So you can see that the rate increases much more steeply for your first few validators, and then the effect kind of tapers off as you get more. And then this is also dependent on the amount of SSV participating. So each of these curves kind of represents an expected value of that amount. So the top one here, which might be sort of the initial state of the network, if there's 1 million SSV that's participating, your first validator might be earning about 10% APR, and then if you create more, might be getting up to closer to 18. But as this picks up, more SSV will be added, and this will basically decrease over time. But to basically show the dynamics of how it works, like this is a kind of a good rule of thumb. More validators will earn you more rewards, but it's more important to get just a few of your first ones out than getting getting to the real high numbers of validators. So to dive into this a little deeper, I put the math up here just to kind of have it. I'm kind of a math nerd, so this kind of stuff is natural to me, but if you're the type of person that your eyes kind of gloss over when you see this, it's totally okay, no problem at all. What the things that are important to know are the things I kind of cover on the last slide. Basically what variables affect the rewards that you get. So to illustrate a little more specifically the diminishing returns, I took one curve from the previous plot. So this is the 2 million SSV total that's committed in the program. And I kind of just picked out some values of that to show how they affect diminishes. So your first validator might earn about 4.9 APR, but then by the time you get to 10, you'll see the effect of each one decreases a lot. So at 10, you're only at 7.7, and then at 30, you're only at 9. So the differences between these points is decreasing. Okay, so allocation B is a little simpler. This is the one for all validators, whether you're holding SSV or not. So the rules of this are much more simple. It's basically that your reward is going to increase for the more validators you have, and the reward is going to decrease the more total validators are on the network. So it's just a linear increase. There's no diminishing returns or anything. So it's as simple as that. More validators you run, the more reward you get from this allocation. Okay, so going over to operators now. There are two allocations for this as well. Allocation C is a little over 11,000 SSV for verified operators. Allocation D is the same amount for all operators, including the verified operators. And to be eligible as an operator, you just need to have over an 85% average performance score to be eligible. for each round, for each 2-week period. So these allocations kind of have the same functional shape as the first SSV holder allocation. It's sort of a logarithmic curve. So basically, the rewards will increase for the more validators you have assigned to your operator, but this is diminishing. So your 100th validator will be worth less than your first one, and your 500th is going to be worth less than your 100th. And then you also increase the reward for just having a higher performance. Now this is not a diminishing return. It's just a linear increase. So basically, if your performance is only 85%, then you're going to earn essentially 85% of your potential rewards. So if it's not obvious, get as many validators as you can, and keep your performance as high as you can. But for the operators that might not be large, and if you only can get 50 validators or even less than that, a lot of the purpose of using these logarithmic curves is to give the smaller and newer participants more of a chance and to more fairly compensate them, because they're really they might be putting in the same amount of effort. And then the last variable is just, if it's not obvious by now, the more people that participate, it's a fixed reward pool. So the reward to each person decreases. So once again, kind of putting up the math, that's in the proposal as well. And then isolating one of the curves from the previous plot. Again, it's the logarithmic function, where your whatever validators you have assigned to your node, any subsequent ones will be less valuable than the previous one. So again, to give smaller people a bigger share of the rewards. And one note about these is, like we mentioned before, a lot of these calculated values they're based on the specific statistics of the state of the network, and obviously it hasn't started yet. So for these specifically, I made a lot of simplification. So don't take any of these values exactly and assume you're going to make those. We'll be presenting an official calculator that I think that will probably be the place to go to get a better estimate of what you can earn. So with that, thanks for participating. I'm super excited about these developments, and I can't wait to see what happens as this moves forward.
Awesome.
Hey, I just wanted to add, if we have a few minutes, that two things. One is this incentivized testnet is a kind of a stepping stone to a longer term incentivized testing program we're working on and thinking of, and we'll make that public once we have some initial draft for that. And another point is that to actually become a verified operator, anyone who wanted to do it in the past had to basically go through the blocks team in a centralized way. And now with the incentivized testnet proposal coming up to its final kind of few hours, there's also a proposal to how to become a verified operator, which actually goes through the DAO instead of blocks. And if you kind of maybe, if we look at it at a high level, you start seeing those small building blocks with the tokenomics and everything in the network coming and being built towards mainnet. So in mainnet, of course, verified operators will have to go through a listing process with the DAO, and there's a relationship between operators and validators in terms of performance and fees and rewards and all those things. So we started to build those building blocks in preparation for mainnet, because it's not only development. We also need to prepare all of the different actors within the network to get a sense of how mainnet will look like. how it is to choose 4 operators, 7 operators, 10 operators, and count on them to make their best efforts and hold them accountable. How is it as an operator to maintain a node and get rewarded for it, and so on and so forth. So those kind of building blocks are extremely important. It's not there's a purpose behind the incentivized tests other than of course reward the different actors within the network. So yeah, I just wanted to mention those 2 points.
Thanks. Actually, there's a few more things you'll be addressing at the end. I'm not sure if you know of them by now or not, but I had a few questions coming in from the community specifically about those topics. Before we do, though, following up on what Fod just described, Ariel from the product team, by the way, if you guys haven't already, the product team is going to be a lot more involved in feedback collection, sort of getting you guys onboarded into the next steps, the building blocks that Alon mentioned. So Ariel, the product guy, will explain a little bit the situation or simulation of how the rewards look like at the moment. Ariel, take it away.
Hey everyone. As Eran said, I just wanted to update that we created a new reward simulator that is based on the last 2 weeks activity of the testnet. So I'm going to show it in favor for everyone who doesn't know it yet. We share. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Awesome. So this is the rewards lookup interface that we created. What is needed is to simply enter here the wallet address that you use to register your validator or operator to the network in our web app, as Yurik showed before, and it should fetch all of your eligibility. Let's take one, for example. You can see here in the data, that's all the raw data that we used for the calculations. Let's take this guy. Awesome. Yeah, so you should be able to see an overview of all the metrics that we identified as eligible, like the numbers of validators, the SSV balance, your performance, and how much rewards they basically entitled you to. Now, it's important to point out that these results they're only a reference to what you should expect during the testnet itself, if everything stays the same as it was for the last 2 weeks. And spoiler, it will probably not, as more people will hear about us and join the network. Now, also this reference only 2 weeks, so you should be multiplying these rewards by 5 to see the full picture. So you have it right here. The link for this will be shared in our Discord after this call, and everyone could use it to check their eligibility. Please pay attention that any validator that was created within the last 12 days are not likely to be present in this sheet, as they could not have been attesting through enough epochs to be considered as eligible. And before I finish, I just wanted to give a heads up regarding what should happen next. Now, a similar report to this will be released at the end of each round of the testnet every 2 weeks. And we will maintain a single file that will enable anyone to see the rewards with a breakdown to all the 5 rounds. The link will be available in the testnet page in our website, and you should expect to see the first results after the first round is over in about 2 weeks.
Ariel, I have a question, if I may.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. So input the wallet address used to register your validator.
Yeah.
So I get that, right? So the one I register my validator with has to have SSV to be eligible. What about the address I use to get the girly ETH in the bot? Does that have to be the same as well, or can they be different?
No, it does not.
Does not have to be the same.
You only have to have the SSV in your address only if you want to have the allocation for the validators and SSV
right.
allocation 8.
Okay, so you're saying as long as
thing.
I register the validator with a wallet that holds SSV, I'm good, regardless of which wallet I used to get the girly ETH to deposit for the validator.
Yeah, exactly. We're only looking at the wallet that used to register it with our contracts through our interface.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, and it applies for both validators and both operators.
Right.
If anyone else have any question, feel free to drop by our Discord and let us know.
Ariel, one more question that came up a lot, and I think it would be great to address. So we did refer to the 85%, let's call it minimum performance that you need to maintain, but can you explain how it looks like within the 2-week time frame? And somehow some users are confused because they see performance of 98%, but they don't see the rewards accumulated for that period. So maybe you can touch on that.
Yeah, so basically each round, 2 weeks, we calculate by 3,150 epochs. So in order to be eligible, you have to be attesting for at least 85% out of these epochs, which is roughly around 2,680. This is why I said earlier that if you signed up within the last 12 days, this is basically the minimum amount you have to be attesting, so there's no way you will be eligible. So if you look at the Beacon chain and you see that you're testing, I don't know, like 90%, if you were not doing it for the whole duration of the epochs of that round, it will still not count on our end. So it's very important to notice that.
Thank you for that.
Awesome. All right, thank you, everyone. Best of luck to everyone.
All right, so we're almost done. Just a few more things to go over. Yeah, you can stop the screen share for now. This link will be made available, and like Ariel mentioned, we'll make sure to update you every time the stats are updated to both that link and the calculator that you'll see online. So again, estimates, it's logarithmic, so it's not something you can measure over time and predict accurately enough. So we'll do our best to make sure you guys are updated. Before we finish for today, keep in mind that Dean will be sharing in the background the POAP in a few minutes while Alon is talking. Alon is going to touch base a little bit about what we can expect for the future, what the community as a whole did to make that enabled us to make this incentivized testnet a reality, and what would be the ideal scenario for the community moving forward, and to make this before mainnet to cover all the topics that we can. Take it away, Alon.
Sure. So I wanted to first mention the whole bot situation we have right now. So originally we started the incentivized testnet, or at least let's say 2 weeks ago. The situation was that anyone basically could make a deposit from whatever address they wanted to, which basically led a lot of people to go through other faucets around the ecosystem and ask for Gweli ETH. The issue was that there were a few people or bots taking advantage of that and abusing those faucets, which basically backfired to us, because the ETH staker community, for example, said, guys, you have a bunch of bots running about and kind of destroying the experience for other users who want to genuinely run a validator and so on. And so we took that feedback and we decided to, in order to reduce negative impact on other communities, we decided to do a bot which actually makes a deposit and then limit all the eligible validators from that moment going forward to the address the bot controls and makes the deposit with, to actually limit all the incentives to use any other faucets around the ecosystem, especially the ETH staker one, which was heavily bombarded with a bunch of requests. And so the bot was deployed. I think it's live already, right, Eran? So it's already deployed. We're still kind of baby stepping it to see if it can handle people and exclude abusers and so on and so forth. And so, but it's up and running and working. And so I just wanted to give an update on that. It will take us probably a few more days to fine tune it and make sure that abusers just can't go and take a bunch of ETH and deposit a bunch of validators. And so that's on that front. As I've mentioned kind of before, the incentivized testnet is really the first stepping stone in kind of starting to coordinate the ecosystem and all the different participants around the possible tokenomics the network has, because it is truly innovative in that regard. Especially in staking on Ethereum, I don't think many stakers today really went shopping in terms of choosing their actual operators and staking services, and choosing the fees, and comparing operators with the performance and so on. And so that approach is fairly unique. And so we wanted to start building step by step the recognition of how those things work from all of the different actors. So the incentivized testnet is a big part of it, because it creates that relationship, which is usually missing in a testnet, where there's accountability and there's something to lose and something to gain. And so in that regard, I think it's extremely important, because it creates that relationship between validators and operators. And also, by the way, once you introduce rewards, the entire stake is, even if the rewards are not get rich quick kind of deals, it kind of puts everyone on a different level of engagement and requirements, both from validators to operators, and operators from the SSV team, and so on and so forth. And so it's a very good, I think, step forward in that regard. But it also we recognize that we need a longer term testnet for various reasons, both for testing out more sophisticated tokenomics and token models, but also just to have a really solid testnet for future developers. Now, for example, Ethereum doesn't have an incentivized testnet, but Ethereum has enough people that care about the testnet itself in order to carry on with a really high quality testnet. But other projects, and a lot of them are don't have necessarily a testnet which really reflects real world mainnet. And we are a developer or kind of oriented project, or for the very least, kind of fairly technical users will use the ssv network. And so having a really good testnet, I think, which truly reflects mainnet, I think it's very important. And so the idea is to take whatever we learn now from the incentivized testnet and carry that on into a much longer term incentivized testnet. And by longer term, I mean years. And so we'll start working on that, and obviously we'll have the spec and everything coming out. But I think that's a big thing. And also just the fact that we can reward people for maintaining a testnet node, I think it's important. There's other really good experiments that other projects did. Polkadot is of course a big one, and the Graph is another one. But doing that well, I think, really serves everyone. And so in that regard, this is kind of the kickoff of the way we want the testnet to look like. And in that, I think we need to construct a few other things. And so we've put out the roadmap for mainnet readiness a few weeks ago. And so there's a lot of things happening from now until mainnet readiness. The really big next milestone is the new set of contracts for the SSV network. The current set of contracts that Yurik, for example, interacted with when he did the demo are really just placeholders. There's something we kind of developed in a hurry just to kind of start a testnet. But of course, there's a bunch of things those smart contracts need to do. And so contracts V2 is a really big milestone. And so what we wanted to do is to kind of coordinate the first incentivized testnet program, which is 2.5 months, with the deployment of the contracts V2, which also require a new testnet just because of because they're new. And so it's very hard to migrate all of the validators and operators into a new smart contract. So what we'll do is probably kind of reset the testnet. Of course, anyone with an operator and validator could carry on to the new testnet, but the contracts V2 require us to have a new testnet. And so what we wanted to do is kind of create that continuity where you have the incentivized testnet for 2.5 months. It's the first kind of attempt to incentivize all of the different actors. It will end hopefully with the deployment of contracts V2 and the start of a new testnet and a start of a new incentivized testnet, which is much longer term. And so that's kind of the goal of the next few months. It's going to be very big. The contracts V2 is a major milestone. It has basically all of the fee management for the entire network. So if you can imagine, the way basically all of the fees are managed between operators, validators, withdrawals, deposits. It's a really, really big version coming out. And so that's kind of the really big next milestone coming up into this testnet, and a really big milestone in terms of the path to mainnet. In parallel, we're working on a few different staking protocols for SSV outside of what I've just described. We have a bunch of different ideas. If anyone paid attention, fees on SSV are, of course, the majority of them goes to the operators, but there's also a network fee. And that network fee is a really interesting idea to create or basically incentivize decentralization. If you can make that fee dynamic based on some decentralization indicators, that's a really cool way to incentivize or disincentivize decentralization and decentralization. And so I've made kind of a HackMD kind of thoughts about it and shared with Fod and others, and we'll very shortly create some kind of a working group around that. I think that's a pretty big milestone as well to have and kind of integrate into the protocol. And so that's kind of the few things you could expect in the next few months. And other than that, working really hard in terms of a few grant proposals, which should come up to the forum in the next few weeks, which are really, really great. And so that's kind of from my end. Other than that, we have the 3 proposals already, which should pass, at least in terms of how they look now. One of them is adding Tim Becko into the multi-sig committee. I think it's a really, really big milestone. Tim is very well known in the Ethereum ecosystem. He's a really, really kind and great guy. I think he's a great addition to just generally like the responsibilities that committee has. I think it's a great addition and a great show of force in terms of the people who want to get involved in this project. Other stuff I work with is I think it's already kind of a public knowledge, but the Ethereum Foundation wants to build a formal spec for SSV or DVT, whatever you want to call it. And so we are playing a very active role in that, in shaping that future spec. And so hopefully it will be made public in the next weeks or months, depending on progress. But that's a really great direction. I think that having a formal spec is a good idea. I mean, in general, I don't think we'll see interoperability anytime soon. I just don't think there's a good incentive to have interoperability between the different SSV clients. But I think that having a structure at least is a good direction to take. And so we play a major role in that. And when we kind of share our experience and knowledge we gained the past year and a half developing SSV. And so hopefully that part of the work will be shown publicly in the next few weeks or months, depending again on progress. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. So we are a little over the time limit, but that's all right. Big news, very big day. I mean, I'm really genuinely super excited about this, and I can see a lot of people just like me sharing the excitement. So we shared a lot of information. Please make sure to go over all the links on the website, the links on the proposals, the links that, and most of the links that Ben shared. And if you guys need another recap or you have any unanswered questions, you know where to find us. We give you a lot of information to digest. I mean, we just launched the Incentivized Testnet, and Alon is talking about the next stage. So definitely a lot of things going on in development. Super excited. Best of luck to all of you. We'll update you on the rewards. Thank you everyone for participating. Thank you for bearing with us for the past hour and a half. And let's get it going, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, guys. It was great. Take care.
Bye-bye, guys.
Ciao, ciao.
Thanks.
Take care.
Thank you, everyone.